So we don't need to take up court time rehashing what's in the motions. They're all well pled. If you have something that you want to add that was not in your written submissions, I'll listen to that. But with regard to the state's motion, which they didn't title for a gag order, but what it essentially is there anything further from the state that you would like the court to consider?
Adrian Love, Your Honor. For the state, Judge, we will rest on the authority that we have presented to the court and point out to the court that since the time of this filing, other instances similar to in nature to the ones that we pointed out to the court have occurred, and we would just simply ask the court to afford the relief requested in the state's motion.
All right, thank you. And anybody from the defense who needs to add anything to what's been filed in writing?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Doug Weinstein for Diamante Kendrick. We will stand on our response. The only other thing I'd like to add is to point the court to the case of WXIA TV v. State 303 Georgia 428, which discusses the presumptive unconstitutionality and issues with gag orders as prior restraint. That case is with respect to the news media, but there is some analogous language in that, and I'd just like to point the court to that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, with regard to this motion, you know, I know that there were some things in it that suggested that certain of the defense lawyers might be running afoul of bar rules, and if they choose to take action that might put them in that kind of a situation, that's kind of up to them. And if there is a complaint filed, then they will have to deal with it. But I think that in regard to the propriety of doing that in this case at this time, I'm going to deny the state's motion. Obviously, if facts change and the state or the defense at any future time believes that it would be appropriate to consider this issue again, please raise it again. But at this point in time, we are going to move forward without instituting any kind of a restrictive order for speaking with the press in the case. With regard to the media, I'm just going to remind any of the media actors that are recording this case that the Rule 22s, they're in effect in Rule 22 period, only permits recording when the judge is on the bench, not during any recesses and not during any bench conferences. So let's make sure that we abide by that from here on out. I was having to reference some prior live stream that was in some of the motions that were filed and some of the responses, and notice that there were definitely times, at least in what I was seeing, that proceedings were being recorded when court was not in session, and Rule 22 does not allow that. So let's make sure that we stay within the bounds of Rule 22.